The Sabbat, often called the Sword of Cain, is a sect of vampires in the world of darkness that defines itself by its belief in an ancient conspiracy. Members are convinced that the eldest vampires, known as the antediluvians, betrayed their progenitor Cain and now use younger vampires as pawns. In response, the Sabbat wages what it calls the Gehenna War against both the antediluvians and the Camarilla, the traditional vampire hierarchy that protects them. The sect rejects human morality outright, embracing alternative paths of enlightenment. It binds its packs together through the Valdery, a ritual blood exchange that suppresses individuality, and those who pass its trials consider themselves true Sabbat, ranking their identity as vampires above clan affiliations or mortal concerns. The story of the Sabbat begins during the Anarch Revolt in the 14th century. At the time, the Catholic Inquisition was rooting out vampires, and elders often sacrificed their younger children to survive. In frustration, neonates rebelled, destroying their sires and using the Valdery to break the blood bond that kept them subservient. When the Anarch leaders signed the Convention of Thorns in 1493, establishing peace with the Camarilla, leaders from Clan Samishi and Clan La Sombra refused to submit. Having already consumed their antediluvians, they knew they couldn't go back. Together with other rebels and outcasts, they formed packs that roamed the countryside. Superstitious mortals dubbed these marauders Sabbat, and over time, these packs united around their blood ritual, devoting themselves to open war on the antediluvians and those who served them. As the sect fought the Camarilla across Europe, it developed a more cohesive ideology. In 1666, at the Black Monastery in Switzerland, Sabbat leaders codified their modern paths of enlightenment, replacing older moral codes with ritual and secrecy. Many packs migrated to the New World, establishing bastions in Spain's possessions and Eastern Europe. In the turbulent colonial era, the Sabbat's radical message resonated, allowing them to flourish alongside revolutionaries and rebels. Yet dominance in the Americas bred internal strife. Power struggles between La Sombra and Simici packs sparked the First Sabbat Civil War, weakening the sect and allowing the Camarilla to reclaim territory. In 1803, the Purchase Pact forbade Sabbat-on-Sabbat violence, but simmering grudges led to a second civil war. This second war ended in New York, where leaders codified the Code of Milan, a set of tenets clarifying Sabbat ideology and governance. The code was endorsed by Regent Melinda Galbraith and the Black Hands leaders, and Mexico City became the sect's informal capital. A third brief civil war flared in 1957 when the Bruja Antitribu attempted a coup. Out of its ashes emerged the Panders, Cadiff recognized as a distinct bloodline who bridged the divide between the dominant clans. Afterward, the sect splintered into city-bound kindred, who integrated into local power structures, and nomads who continued their ancient anarchic ways. In the late 20th century, the Sabbat launched major offensives against the Camarilla, capturing cities like Atlanta and Washington, D.C. Though they lost other strongholds such as New York and Milan, they gained new allies when the Tremere Antitribu were destroyed, and groups like the Salubri Antitribu and the Harbingers of Skulls joined their cause. However, their military arm, the Black Hand, was infiltrated by a secret order known as the True Black Hand. Several of its leaders vanished, and many Assamites defected back to their ancestral home, Alamut. Tensions grew between traditional Old World elders and the younger leadership in the New World. At one point, the regent was killed and replaced by an impostor, adding to the sect's instability. By the current era, the V5 timeline, the Sabbat has largely abandoned its domains to pursue a holy war. After the Second Inquisition intensified human vampire hunting, the sect shifted its focus to war zones in Africa, the Middle East, and Ukraine. Packs launched preemptive crusades against ancient vampires and razed storied sites, but few returned from these campaigns. The Camarilla, intent on protecting the masquerade and their own torpid elders, fought back, further depleting the sect. In America, the Sabbat relinquished control of most of its cities. Chronicles from Chicago speak of packs that vanished after the horrific nights of 1993. Today, What little remains operates as nomadic cells called the Seven Fires, which strike unpredictably and leave cryptic graffiti referencing shadows and lost children's stories. Two recent books explore this transformation. Sabbat, the Black Hand, released in 2021, reintroduces the sect to modern players. It clarifies that the Gehenna War is a global conflict, not merely a Middle Eastern crusade, and acts as a guide to using Sabbat pacts as antagonists or protagonists. It also describes how infiltration by the true Black Hand and the devastation of the Gehenna War left the sect fragmented into small, brutal cells. The 2023 lorebook, Sabbat the Schism, reframes the sect's evolution yet again. It promises a complete history of the Sabbat, from its origins in the Anarch Revolt to a split that divides the sect between a corrupt Black Hand and a clandestine true Sabbat. According to its description, the true Sabbat survives in secrecy, more dangerous than ever, while the Black Hand operates as a visible but infiltrated remnant. The book introduces new clans, bloodlines, disciplines, and cults, and offers guidance for playing Chronicles set before, during, or after this schism. Its narrative suggests that the sect has become stranger, sharper, and more treacherous. It urges storytellers to treat the Sabbat not as simple monsters, but as a complex ecosystem of cults, military orders, and spiritual movements bound by ritual and trauma. Ideologically, the Sabbat remains fervent in its devotion to Cain and hatred of the antediluvians. Members reject human morality and instead follow paths of enlightenment designed to suppress their humanity and channel their inner beast. They see clan lineage as meaningless. Even La Sombra and Zimishi call themselves anti-tribute in conversations with outsiders. Their chief aim is total freedom from the antediluvians' influence. They seek to destroy the Camarilla and subjugate rival vampires. They view the Anarchs as wayward siblings whom they hope to convert by force. Culturally, the Sabbat uses ritual to strip individual identity and foster pack loyalty. They initiate members through creation rites and test disputes with duels known as monomacy. They celebrate blood-soaked festivals like the Pala Grande and the Wild Hunt. Practices vary widely by region, reflecting the sect's decentralized nature. Young members often sport crucifixes as a form of irony, while elders disdain such displays as blasphemous. The sect's disregard for secrecy and enthusiastic use of vampiric powers frequently draws human hunters' attention. The Sabbat's leadership structure has thinned over time. It used to feature regents, cardinals, and bishops overseeing elaborate hierarchies. Today, attrition and decentralization have hollowed out the middle ranks. Regents, archbishops, bishops, and pack priests are the primary remaining titles. The pack priest often takes on both spiritual and tactical leadership, subsuming the role of ductus. In the Schism era, the lorebook describes new organizational frameworks: legions, a court of blood, a secret inquisition, and a hidden sword dedicated to infiltration. On the doctrinal side, the sect encourages members to adopt paths of enlightenment that replace humanity. These include the path of Cain, power through diablerie; Cathari, hedonistic excess; death and the soul, power and the inner voice and the sun. Each has its own moral code and favored disciplines. The lorebook expands these into modular roads of enlightenment and introduces rare paths like Lilith, excess, and oblivion. It also adds cults like the Church of Cain, the Maenads of Ecstasy, the Order of Enigmas, the Shadow Temple, and Odin's Chosen, each offering unique beliefs and powers. The Black Hand originally served as the Sabbat's covert military arm, predating the sect itself. In modern nights, infiltration by Manus Nigrum, the true Black Hand, undermined it, leading to desertions and the subsequent schism that split the Sabbat into the public Black Hand and the hidden True Sabbat. The True Sabbat reputedly reconfigured itself, going underground while honing its rituals and launching clandestine raids. Meanwhile, the Black Hand continues to operate in the open, though riddled with corruption and manipulators. This division is central to the lorebook's narrative and offers storytellers different campaign possibilities: classic crusades, schism-era conflicts, survival chronicles featuring shattered pacts, or stories about the true Sabbat's hidden expansion and infiltration of enemy domains. By 2025, the Sabbat is a mere shadow of its former self. The Gehenna War, the Second Inquisition, and defections, such as the departure of the La Sombra to the Camarilla, have depleted its ranks. Many of its former territories are either empty or contested war zones. It functions as a collection of roving cults and cells. The Chicago Folios describe cell networks known as Seven Fires, which conduct brutal raids and leave enigmatic messages hinting at lost shadows and betrayal. The identity of the sect's regent is unknown. Some suspect the position is vacant. Meanwhile, the true Sabbat is said to lurk behind the Black Hand, its membership and motivations shrouded in mystery. Despite these hardships, the Sabbat remains uncompromising in its ideology. It believes that only through blood, war, and ritual can the Sword of Cain reshape the world's end and free vampires from their ancient masters. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Sabbat, let's keep the conversation going. Like this video if the lore fascinated you. Subscribe for more World of Darkness insights and hit the bell to be notified when our next videos go live. Share your thoughts or questions about the Sword of Cain in the comments. I'd love to hear your theories on the Sabbat's future. And don't forget to share this video with fellow fans who want to explore Vampire the Masquerade's darker corners. Together, we can unearth even more secrets of the night.